everybody, and welcome again to your practice. Today's Hatha Yoga class, a special focus on more core. And by that, really, I mean even more connection, more feeling of what's going on in your center, that part of the body from the lowest part of your abdomen, all the way up to really the lowest, even the third or fourth rib here, where deepest core muscles engaged. So it's about the trunk of the body and how it supports, stabilizes, obviously strengthens, but also helps you expand into every center of your being. So we're going to do a lot of awareness work on this part of the body. And for that, it's really nice to start on your back in a comfortable resting pose. And just give yourself a moment to arrive and to feel. So you can keep your knees bent, your feet on the floor, especially if you feel any discomfort in your lower back. This is a really nice way to take it easy there. If everything feels good in the low back, feel free to extend your legs out one at a time, keeping the legs wider than the mat and letting the legs be heavy and relaxed. Let your arms be by your side, your head and your neck right in that center line of you, with your chin gently tucked in towards your chest so that the back of the neck is nice and long. Settle in, and with your exhale, see if you can let go of anything you don't need to be fully here in this body, in this moment, and connecting with this breath. We're going to breathe naturally in this class. Always in through the nose. And if it feels easy, out through the nose or the mouth. In fact, you might want to try taking a sigh with me here. Take a nice, rich inhale through the nose. And exhale, breathe out the mouth with a sigh. And notice how that feels. Notice if you can let go of any tension a little bit easier in this way. The body likes to make sounds. Breathing out through the mouth will release a little bit of that stiffness or even stagnation. Get things vibrating and ready for movement. We'll also release some heat that way. So feel free to breathe out the mouth at any time if that feels better for you. And sometimes it'll help to deepen the release by briefly activating the body. This is an exercise I like to call the 5 sighs. So we're going to use the muscles in different parts of the body to see if we can soften and release even more. So on an inhale, we're going to lift the legs just a little bit, but push your seat down into the floor. On an inhale, engage the center as you lift the legs. You could bend them. Stretch long through both legs as you spread your toes. Exhale, release. And on your next exhale, see if you can just release a little easier. Now we're going to use the whole back body, taking a gentle back bend by lifting the hips and pushing the feet, the back of the feet and the back of the shoulders into the floor. So on an inhale, lift your hips. You make a bridge with the whole body. Reach up a little bit more with the next breath, and with the exhale, sigh. And let the whole body rest down a little more. We'll concentrate that just in the upper chest area around your heart. You can use your arms for a little bit more lift here, making a fist and reaching your forearms into the ground. On an inhale, lift your heart, opening. And on an exhale, soften and release. And with the next exhale, see if you could just feel that a little more. The breath can help us expand and open the whole body. So we're gonna, actually, let's take the concentration one step further and then get that final opening. So we're going to squeeze now all of the muscles of the body everywhere at once. So when you're ready, it helps to push your seat down into the floor, engaging the core, and then lift up everything just a little bit. You can close your eyes, squeeze all of the muscles of your face as you make fists, even squeezing your toes. Try to squeeze all of the muscles everywhere, inwards towards your center. And on an exhale, release completely. And see if the next exhale can help you soften even more. So from that concentration, we'll end with an open feeling and expansion everywhere. Again, we're gonna lift the body if that feels appropriate, but support the back by pushing your seat down, pulling the belly in. On an inhale, lift up, and this time open the hands, spread the toes, open your eyes. You could even look up above your eyebrows and stick out your tongue. On an exhale, let it all go, and let your whole body relax. With your next exhale, feel that flow of energy, the circulation of the blood moving throughout. Allow your exhales to let the whole body rest a little bit easier, a little bit softer down into the floor. And slowly, when you're ready, begin to deepen your breathing. With the next inhale, simply take in a little bit more. And also lengthen your exhales so that the length and the strength of your breaths in are matched with easy, smooth breaths out. So keep going like this in your own time. Your inhales gradually deepening, expanding a bit more. And take the time so that each exhale is complete. You fully release. You could also squeeze the navel into the body if that helps you get that last bit of air out. So that in this way, we're going to arrive naturally at your maximum but still comfortable breathing rhythm. And maybe a gentle pause before releasing the breath as smoothly, as softly, and also as easily as you can. Let it all the way out. Once you arrive at this maximum comfortable breathing rhythm, I'm just going to stay here for the next 5 long, full, and unrushed breaths. At the end of your fifth, complete exhalation, simply return to your natural breathing. Take another moment here to observe and feel. Especially notice if you can observe any changes already in how you're feeling. Anywhere where you might have perhaps picked up some tension or not yet let it go. Or maybe you're feeling a general sense of ease, a little bit more lightness in the body. You might already feel quite big changes, or they might be very subtle. Once you've noticed again how you're feeling, let's take one more moment to notice your natural breath. Our anchor into this moment. And also a wonderful tool and reminder that this life chose you. And that this breath will carry you through this whole life, even as it's constantly changing. It's also continuously there. So, when you're ready, start to wake up the body with small movements, especially if you noticed any areas that feel tight. You might wiggle the spine or stretch it out, twisting, rolling, or rocking the legs side to side. And then we're going to bend the legs and place the feet on the floor so they're right underneath the knees. And so our core really is that base of our trunk, one of our most obvious connections to center. And I really want you to feel the way that the core is supported through the floor of the pelvis and how that work is connected through the length of your whole spine. So we're going to start with spinal flexion and extension. This is also known as cat and cow pose when we do it on our hands and knees. We're going to do it on the floor. So we start by tilting the pelvis forward on an inhale. You pull your tailbone down towards the ground. Your lower back will round and lift up. And then as you exhale, pull the belly in. Your tail lifts in the direction of your knees. The lower back gets long, reaching into the ground. So again, on an inhale, let your pelvis tilt forward as you arch the low back. And then as you exhale, the pelvis tilts back. You get rounds in the lowest part of your back. Pull it down into the ground. You can also close your eyes for this. And also anytime where we're doing very stable poses where you feel grounded and balanced, sometimes closing your eyes will help remove some of those external distractions and allow you to more easily perceive exactly what's going on inside of you, and also how this work connects and is supported by the breath. The breath is here for us even if we don't pay attention to it, but when we do, when we become mindful of our breathing, we also might become more aware of how these movements are also enhancing the breath. So there's a little bit more room for expansion, especially in the ribs. When we say we take this arch, maybe even a little bit of lift in the chest. And as you exhale and get round, this contraction helps encourage that circulation of life force in you. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, tilt the pelvis forward, arching the back, and exhale, reversed pelvic tilt, getting really long, extending that tail up. And at the end of your next exhale, just release and stay here. So your lower back should be quite long here. It's fairly close to the ground, if not all the way touching the ground. So if you try to put a hand behind your lower back, it shouldn't go all the way through. But again, your tail is going to reach away from your head. So that tailbone reaching long and down. And then go ahead and pull your lower legs up so they're parallel to the ground. I'm going to start with some really simple and also really effective work for the deep core. Also connected to our hip flexors, the psoas. So these are toe taps, and the key here is to try to stay stable in your knees. Notice your knees here, parallel to each other, and pointing more or less up. Maybe it's a little bit diagonal and up. Let's see if you can notice where the center of your knees are pointing, and you want to keep that very still. As you exhale, we're going to lower the first foot towards the ground. The toes may touch or may not. And then inhale, come back up. And exhale, second side. Toes tapping towards the floor or in the direction of the floor. And inhale back up. So again, the whole time the knees stay very stable. There's not a lot of movement here. And the entire time we're going to pull that core into the body. So your navel engages into the body and a little bit up in the direction of your heart. But we're only going to do this, we're only going to work as hard as we can maintain a full breath here. So if you've noticed you've started to grind your teeth, or if you're straining in your head, in your face, then you're doing it a little bit too hard. You're doing a little too much. And that actually won't be as effective for integrating the whole core. So we want to work at our edge here. We want to work at a place where there's definitely some effort. And you should feel that engagement of your navel pulling in, the whole core muscles supporting the back and the extension of the spine. But the breath is still free to move fluidly. When you finish your second side, one more time, let's try both toes together on an exhale. Knees stay stable, belly pulling in, and on an inhale, coming back up. And let's try it one more time. Exhaling completely, and inhaling, extending, spread the toes. On an exhale, go ahead and hug your legs into the body. Again, feel free to breathe out the mouth at any time. That can be a really nice way to let go of any tension and a little bit of heat. Good stuff. All right, we're going to do another one with just the legs here. And now feel free to extend the whole legs up. You can always bend your knees. That will take some of that pressure off of the low back. So feel free to do that. But try to keep your upper leg, so the thigh, vertical, 90 degrees to the floor. And again, spread your toes. And let's energize the whole leg. So imagine your leg is like a hose full of liquid energy. And we want to engage the whole length of that so the bottom of your foot reaches up, even as your legs remain grounded. The head bone, the head of the leg bone, reaching down to the ground. And on an exhale, we're going to lower the floor, lower the first leg towards the floor, any amount. Now, this could be maybe a third of the way, half of the way, or even almost touching the floor, but you're only going to go as far again as you don't need to strain in other parts of the body, and you can maintain that full, easy breath. That's a bit much on this side for me. I'm going to stay here for a couple more breaths, and let's see if we can engage the legs more. Imagine your legs were like scissors, and you want to, or shears, that you're going to close them towards your center line. So your legs start to squeeze in towards the middle, Go ahead and spread the toes again a little bit. Lengthen through both legs, and on an inhale, we'll bring that first leg up, and exhale out the mouth. Nice. Stretch both legs up a little bit more as you spread your toes, and then exhale second side. So start with that same distance you did on the first side. It really can be any amount, and it might be that this side feels a little bit more stable, and you could lower a little more. Or you might already notice more shaking. That's okay. You can adjust and always bend your knees if you need to. Let's lengthen both legs again here with the split legs. Spread your toes, and then energetically we pull both legs in towards the center. There's not really much movement at all, but you should feel a lot already happening in your legs and, of course, in the lower abdomen. Breathing deep. On an inhale, lift the leg. Exhale. Breathe out the mouth. Feel free to hug yourself or also rolling on your back. So we're going to massage the back because the core is not just the front side of the body. It really wraps around like this barrel of strength, and these bands of muscle and energy, including in the back body, are integral to the core. So let's come up into boat pose here. Now, you can also just roll to your side and then help yourself up into a seat, or you can start to roll on the back. Great. This is another way to massage the back. Just be careful not to roll on your neck. And try to roll with as much coming of the movement supported by your core and your center, and as little momentum as you can, until you come up into a extended spine with your feet on the floor. I'm going to start here and take any variation of this boat pose that you need. So it could be with your hands on the ground as well, and your feet. Your knees are bent, and your lower back, again, is long, the belly pulling in. Lift your heart. So this is our first variation of navasana, the boat pose. And the next variation would be to bring the hands behind the knees, so we take a little bit less support with the hands, and start to lift the toes up. Now, if lifting your feet parallel to the ground causes you to round your back, like I'm exaggerating here, then that's too much. It's better to keep maybe just the big toes on the ground, and maybe the hands behind the knees or on the floor. And breathe deep here. And again, pull the navel into the body and up towards the heart as you lift your heart. See if you can relax your shoulders a bit more here. You might also want to add the arms parallel to the floor with the palms facing in, the thumbs facing up. We're going to add that toe extension, kind of like the reverse toe tap here. So this time, let's move on the exhales. Exhale that first side up, and we'll inhale to stay here. And exhale, coming back to your center. Inhale, lifting your heart, pull the belly in. Exhale, extending. Inhale, stay here. And exhale, release. If you're finding this difficult and shaking, that's really good. It's a sign a lot of the smaller muscles that we use a little bit less are starting to engage more. Listen to your body again and adjust as you need. One more time, let's lift the heart as you lengthen through the whole body. And then exhale, set your feet down, give yourself a little hug. Great stuff. And then come over your feet. You can cross the ankles and come onto your hands and knees. Just gonna lengthen and flex the whole spine again. So this is classic cat and cow. Classically, on the inhale, we arch the back, and exhale to lengthen and round. Notice how the change in the shape of the body and the space internally may change that feeling and your awareness of the breath, which is one of the main carriers of our vital energy. And just do that one more time in your rhythm. At the end of your next exhale, bring into a neutral spine here. So a neutral spine means it's naturally extended. See if you can feel that length. Your shoulders are over the wrist, knees are directly under your hips, and that tailbone is reaching long away from the crown of your head. We're going to pull our core in a little bit more here. So belly pulls in. And then we'll lift the first leg. And imagine you're standing on something here. Flex the foot as if you were pushing with the bottom of your foot against something. Even as you reach the crown of your head forward, if this is already wobbly, stay here. Or lift the opposite arm up. But try to keep both shoulders in your upper back. So they're pretty far from your ears. And we really want them to connect to that upper back support. This may be a great challenge for your balance. If you need to fold up the mat or add some cushion for that standing knee, feel free to do that. And you could stay here for 3 more breaths or bend the knee. And we take it into our first big back bend. This is also a great stabilizing action for the core. Just remember to breathe here. So you pull that navel in and you use the pull of your leg against the pull of your arm for a nice isometric activation here. On an exhale, release, and inhale, lengthen the whole spine again, neutral spine, and exhale, set it down. Pausing here on hands and knees, see if you can feel already any difference from one side to the next. Feeling especially the length of your spine and also the natural curves. So we've got that curve at the back of the neck and also right above the tailbone where the sacrum, that fused part of your spine, curves gently into your lower back, lifting up to your center. We'll lift the second leg when you're ready and activate that foot. So we flex the foot, 90-degree bend at the ankle, spread the toes, and pull that belly in. Reach your tail long. Even as you try to keep your shoulders relaxed in the back, option to extend the opposite arm. And remember your breath. So we're looking somewhere just in front of maybe the edge of the mat, somewhere where you can keep the neck, the back side of the neck, especially long, just as long as the front, and where your gaze can be soft. So relaxing your eyes and all the muscles of the face. Option to bend that back knee for a bound tiger pose here, or just stay in that balancing cat for 3 breaths. We're still warming up, so I don't want to take a forceful or exaggerated back bend. We want this back bend again to be connected to your center as you work by deepening the breath. One last breath here. Exhale, release, and inhale to just neutralize the spine and settle down. Nice. Now at any time, you can always take a pause, coming back into child's pose, or even resting on your back if you feel you need it. We're going to do just a little bit more for that stabilizing action of our center. And this one's also going to be a really nice extension for the whole spine. So we can start here with the toes tucked. We're just going to lift the knees. Maybe it's only an inch or two off the floor. We're going to pull the belly in. So the knees are about the height of your ankles if you look back. Pull the belly in and start to tuck your head into the body, rounding your upper back. Stay here for 3 smooth, unrushed breaths. Keep pulling the belly in, lengthen and round the whole back. And exhale. Oops, I'm doing a little bit more with the legs there. Let's see if I can get the lift out of the core. And release. Lovely. Okay, I'm going to take it into the legs now. So we'll lift that first leg. Actually, I'll start on this side to face you. And then bring that first leg, the foot, right in between your hands until the knee is right above the ankle. The knee following the middle of your foot, following those toes. And then we'll lengthen the back by using the legs. So you pull the front leg a little bit back as you lengthen the back leg a little bit forward. And again, we engage the core. So the navel pulls in, extending the spine, and the option to take it into a little twist here, twisting your upper body, twisting your heart in the direction of that front leg. You could keep the hand on the back hip, a little bit more stable that way, or even extend the arm. And also feel the extension of your neck on all sides. This one should feel really juicy. So see if you can use your legs a little bit more, squeezing both legs more into the hips. And exhale to make it feel good. Great. Bringing the hand down, and we'll take that hip opener and maybe the twist on the second side. We start with the foundation. I like to come up onto the fingertips, make sure the knee is following the toes and centered right above the ankle. Also, might need more padding for the knee on one side. So if you need that, please give yourself that. And then we turn on the legs, that front leg and the head of the leg bone pulling back into the hips. On the back leg, it's that front side of the leg that is stretching open as we pull it a little bit forward. And you could just stay there and breathe deep. Or you have the option of adding the twist with the upper body, but don't lose that connection to your center or the breath. Also the option to extend with the arms, but try to keep both shoulders relaxed in the upper body as you look in the center or maybe up at that upper thumb, or even take some gentle rotation through the neck. Sometimes that's a good way to loosen up any stiffness there. You want to look in whatever direction feels good for your neck. And take one more breath. And then exhale, hands by the front foot as we lift the back knee and step forward, forward bend. Nice. Let your upper body hang heavy here on the support of your legs. And keep your knees easy. Knees parallel, resting above your ankles, right in front of the heel, and right in the center line of your foot. Now let's activate this one a bit more. So we're gonna come up halfway on an inhale, belly in, but those shoulders stay back. Keep the hands on the floor or on your shins, and then exhale, fold forward, forward bend. And let's see if we can turn on the legs a little bit more. Do this by squeezing the muscles towards the bones and lifting your kneecaps up in the direction of your hips, even as you reach your heel down. Inhale, come halfway up. Lengthen the back, but also feel those curves at the back of the neck and the lowest part of your spine. Exhale, fold forward, forward bend.
Now we're going to come up nice and slow. Keep that foundation, spreading your toes, and begin to unroll the back, vertebra by vertebra. It's like one piece of your back stacking on top of the neck, the shoulder, the head and the neck, the very last things to come up. Lovely. So, standing here in your mountain pose, we're going to activate the feet, and then we'll do a brief sun salutation sequence to activate the whole body before we get into a couple peak poses today. So again, see if you can reach down through the corners of your feet. Keep your toes relaxed, spreading open so you can see the colors of the mat. This will help you also engage your root. This is the action of the legs reaching both down through the feet and also up into your lower abdomen. Do this by activating your tailbone down as you lift your pubic bone up. So the knees always stay easy. We never fully extend the legs, not 100%, definitely not more. You want to keep an easy bend in the knees, even as you turn on your legs a bit more. Now we're going to come up onto the balls and the toes of the feet. These are just easy calf lifts. And then reach that heel back as you lower down. Inhale, coming up onto the toes, onto the balls of your feet. And as you exhale, really see if you can connect to that center as you lower the heels back and down. Now let's see if we can add the arms to that. Inhale. I notice I rushed a little bit. In all of this really mindful core work, moving more slowly is actually going to be more challenging for most of us. So I really invite you here to explore moving as slowly as you can with these powerful engagements. Because when we try to speed through things and rush, we're actually missing out on the best part. And that often happens when the movement or the exercise is difficult. And we'll also tend to rush our breath here. Let's do that one more time, lifting onto the toes and the balls. And if you can, let the movement of the heel lift and the arms rising match your breath. And then we'll stay here. As you exhale, you can bring the hands to the heart center. Even though we're on the toes and the balls, let's see if we can feel that root energy reaching down, spreading the toes, the front corners of the foot reaching down, the heel reaching back as you pull that core in, belly in, tail down, pubic bone up, and even that first rib right there above your belly area, reaching towards the center as we lengthen the whole spine. On an inhale, reach the arms up. And as slow as your breath, exhale, set it down as slow as you can. Lovely. Feel free to shake that out if you need, or just get ready for a couple sun salutations with me. We'll start with the feet hip distance apart. This will be a nice preparation when we get into our chair. Or you can challenge your balance a little bit more, bringing your legs together as if you had one leg. Especially if you're already warmed up, you might be feeling like you want that. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward, forward bend. Inhale, come halfway up, heart forward, tail back. Exhale, the right leg back, pausing for a breath. On your next exhale, coming into plank pose, activate your whole body, especially the core, belly in, shoulders away from the ears. On the first exhale, I like to set the knees down for that first chaturanga, really focusing on the integrity of the shoulders in the upper back. Lower down, release. Point your toes, and on an inhale, pull that belly up and in as you lift forward and up, cobra pose. Exhale, settle down. Inhale, come up again, keeping the elbows close to the body, lifting your head, lifting your heart. Exhale, release. And for that third time, we're going to stay there for 3 breaths. Inhale. And on the exhale, see if you can let go of anything you don't need to be fully here in this pose, connected with yourself. On an exhale, release the chin to the chest as you come back, either through hands and knees or just lifting your hips, coming back to downward facing dog. Again, pausing for a breath. On an inhale, the right leg comes up. Exhale, step it forward all the way between the hands, using your hands for help if you need. So you have that 90-degree bend in the knee. On your next exhale, step forward, forward bend. Inhale, halfway up. Reach your tail back as the crown reaches forward. Exhale, full forward. On the inhale, we can roll up again or drop the hips, and with a long back, lift on the support of the legs. Exhale into the softness of the breath. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, fold forward from your hips. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, step the left leg back for that high lunge, coming onto the fingertips if you like. On your next exhale, come back to plank, or plank on your knees. It'll also be good core work, and it might even help you feel the full length of the spine. As you exhale, lower that length. One line of energy, lowering down together. Point your toes, and you push your legs down into the ground so much that the knees lift up. As you inhale, come forward and up, cobra. And exhale, lower down again. This time you might want to bring your arms out so that your elbows are over the wrists with a 90-degree bend. Inhale, come forward and up. And exhale, release. Last time, and we'll stay again for 3 breaths. So choose that variation that's working well for you. Could be classic cobra, could also be with no hands on the ground. Really connecting to that core, connecting to your center, and letting go of anything. Letting go of everything else that doesn't serve you. Last breath. Reaching up just a little bit more. Exhale, chin to the chest, rising up, downward dog. Take another breath here. And on an inhale, lift the leg. Exhale, step that foot forward as softly as you can. Inhale to lengthen the back again. And then exhale, step forward, forward bend. Inhale, rise up in the way that feels best for your back with 1 breath. Exhale, settle all the way down for at least a breath or 2. Standing here in your mountain pose with your knees right above your ankles, the hips right above the knees. Let the arms face forward so the bicep, the palm faces forward as you notice your shoulders right above the hips. Notice your ears right in line with your shoulders as you lift the crown of your head, reaching down through your feet, letting that tailbone extend down as you lift that pubic bone up, pull the core in. Last 3 smooth, unrushed breaths here. Great. Now we're going to do a little chair sequence here. For this one, I really recommend you start with your legs hip distance apart, but you could always bring them together for more balanced challenge, and if that felt better to you. So knees are always going to follow the toes here in the center line of the foot. As we exhale, we're going to lower the hips back and down until you can get your hands on the floor, maybe the middle finger touching. And then we'll lengthen the back by pulling into the center. So belly in. And you can just stay here or add the arms. Reach that tailbone back and down as you pull the belly in. Maybe lifting the upper body or lifting the arms so they're right by your ears. Exhale, fold forward. On your next inhale, come back up into chair and breathe deep. Pulling the belly in, we lift the heart, maybe lifting the gaze. On an inhale, we come up. Exhale, hands to the center of your heart. On your next inhale, reach up. Exhale, sit back and down into your chair. Feel free to use the arms for guidance, or even resting the arms in an in-between variation. Really want to feel that integrity of the shoulders, soften the muscles of your face as you activate your big muscles of the legs. Connect that into your breath and your core. On an exhale, fold forward. On your next inhale, come back up. Fierce pose. Will you say yes to that life energy that chose you? On your next inhale, rise up. Exhale, come back to center. On the next inhale, lift up with a big yes. Exhale, soften with big ease. And on an inhale, we come up. 3 more breaths here in Utkatasana, powerful chair. Feel free to sit back a little bit deeper. You really got to turn on the legs and use a lot of breath. On that next inhale, rise up. And this time on an exhale, folding from your hips, fold forward, Utkatasana, forward bend. Now looking at your feet, we're going to walk the feet open a bit, as wide as the mat. But make sure your knees are following the toes as we set our hips back. Now this could be the same height as your knees in one variation. You might also want to block for underneath your seat, underneath your sitting bones. This is another nice supported variation of Malasana, the yogi squat. You can keep your hands on the floor or use whatever you have to support. If you like, you can also bring your hands in front of your heart. Let's pull the belly in again. Same thing we've been doing all this time. As we reach the tail down, we're lifting that pubic bone up towards the center, lifting the heart with the breath, and turning that attention again inwards. Last breath here, and on an exhale, releasing your hands down. We're going to come all the way down onto our seat. One last time using our core. So for this, find a seat where you can lift the heart. Your feet are resting on the floor. And you could keep the hands on the floor or behind your knees. But wherever you are, let's feel that length and the curves of the spine again. As you inhale. And as you exhale, start to pull that belly in one more time. So stay long. And this time we use our exhales to engage that core a little bit more. Feel free to keep the hands on the legs or the floor, or you can hook the thumbs, or even take the arms parallel, the hands facing in, the thumbs facing up. One more time, lifting your heart, we lengthen the whole back. And as you exhale, curling the pit of the belly into the body, we're going to start to lower down, but really slow. I know you're going to love it. So go ahead and smile while you do this stuff. Might make it more light. And then as you exhale, curl the belly into the body and start to round your back down. Take your time with this. And that shaking, that wobbling is really good. Lowering down through the lower back, mid back, and then finally the upper back, the back of the shoulders, the head and the neck release completely. So we're back to, or close to where we started, but here go ahead and open your feet wide again, as wide as your mat with your knees bent, facing up. And on an exhale, you can open your arms out wider. Let's take the knees over to one side as you look in the opposite direction. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the other side. Inhale, coming back through center. And exhaling, just letting the legs fall with gravity. A nice release through the hips. Also, really good release for our obliques and the side abdominal muscles. We were doing good stuff with there in chair and in malasana. So one more time here. You go through both sides. And then lift your feet, knees over the hips, and grab the backs of, or the outside of your legs, right below your knees, on the shin, or even behind the knees. Lengthen the whole back, feel those curves. And as you inhale, pull the belly in and lift your forehead up towards your knees. Exhale, release. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. Rising up, and we'll stay here for 3 more breaths. Option to take the arms out wide, and try to keep those shoulders relaxed in your upper back. On your 3rd breath, see if you can lift your heart, lift your upper body a little more. Exhale, lower it down, all the way to the floor. And here, take your arms out wide like a T or bend the elbows. And with the knees together, just going to take our knees over to one side. And then inhale back up. Exhale over to the other side. See if you can keep the knees together. So they're in one plane. And for now, with your knees bent, if that feels very easy for you, and you're able to keep both shoulders and the back of the head on the floor, consider extending the legs. As we take a couple dynamic twists here, just unwinding and also winding the whole spine. But if this feels at any point too difficult, or you lose now the foundation of the upper back, just bend the knees. The next time you come to the first side, we're going to let the knees come as close to the ground as feels good. You might need to move your seat a little bit away from the knees. So you bring the hips in the opposite direction and let the knees come down to the ground. The head can stay here or looking in the opposite direction, or again, a gentle rotation through the whole neck. Last couple of breaths here. We come out with that core connection. So pull the belly in as you lift the knees up. I like to move my seat a little bit. That just helps me keep those knees a little bit more together. And so I'm going to get the effort, or rather the extension and the opening of this twist with a little bit less effort, just letting gravity do the work. But I'm feeling that connection and really noticing that connection of the upper body. The foundation here for the twist is the upper back. It's okay if the knees don't touch the floor, and you could also use a pillow or a block under your knees. Last couple of breaths here. Again, with your exhales, giving yourself permission to let go of whatever you don't need. On an inhale, engaging to the center, coming back up, and exhale, release. Knees over the hips. One last time, we're gonna engage our center. Pull the belly in as you lift the upper body up. Exhale, release. Good job. So wherever you are, find a comfortable resting position. That could be right where you started. Your knees could stay up, especially if your lower back's giving you any discomfort. You could also rest the knees against each other, making a little tent with your legs, the feet out wide. Or widen your legs at least as wide as your hips and lengthen them for a classic Shavasana, a final resting pose. Arms by your side with a little bit of room between the upper arm and your side body for the underarm. Back of the shoulders resting on the floor, the head and the neck, an extension of the spine. With every exhalation, let your whole body rest a little bit heavier towards the floor. With every inhalation, see if you can notice those contact points where your body meets the mat. And as you exhale, allow any tension you might be holding on to soften and melt into the earth. Not looking for perfection here, just comfort. Making any final adjustments, any small movements you need to get settled. Perhaps removing your glasses or putting on an extra layer that helps you stay warm and comfortable. And then closing your eyes and allowing your full attention to rest in the natural rise and fall of your beautiful breath.
Wherever you are, gently drawing your attention back to here and now. Back to this body, back to this breath. And as you're ready, slowly start to deepen your breathing. Take your time. There is no rush. And naturally and spontaneously, as the breath deepens, there's increased movement and vibration, increased circulation of life. So feel free to enliven your body with movement and move in a way that love makes you move. And if you feel good about it, feels right, take a big stretch again for the whole body, bringing the arms overhead as you reach from your fingers through your toes. Reach, 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 reach. And exhale. Let go. Finish by bending one leg and then the other, and hugging both legs into your chest. Let your head roll to one side, and then the other. And finish by rolling to your right side, in the fetus position. Pausing and feeling. When you feel ready, use your hands and come up for one more pose. Any pose where you can sit comfortably, sit relaxed. Sit in a way where your spine can be naturally extended. No discomfort in the knees or the hips. Bring your arms to your heart center and thank yourself for doing something good for your body, for your mind. May your practice benefit you and all those around you. Namaste.